What's up, Internet? Welcome back to Riven. In the last episode, we took the submarine and tried to figure out the little railway system we have going on here. We realized that that system is very different. Yeah, I think though that we've seen a lot of what we can see in the submarine. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but let's find out. So, if I turn this around. How do we go forward? Oh. No, that's going to be direction. Right. And onward. Right, and this is just the juncture. So rather than it being a circle, it's really like an X. All right, we're going to exit from the right side and just see what else I can do. So we have, in my notes, I don't know if you could tell, I've taken a break between episodes here. Yeah, we have 4 of the animal sounds, right? So we're good on those. The only one we don't have is which one? We don't have what I have labeled as 1, or what I would have labeled as 1. Oh, I should have labeled where I found all of these. That was a mistake. Okay. Nice and calm. I don't see... Oh, that's just braiding around the side. I don't feel like that's super necessary. And there's nothing in... Oh. Oh. Oh, it's going to fill it in a little bit. Is that supposed to be something? Hold on. Right, I called that bug, I think. I can't press it again, so that's the shape that it wants me to see. I have a feeling that that's a thing. Because that's too specific. It wouldn't do that if it didn't want me to see that shape. So I'm just gonna draw something like that. Well in village also, just so I have it. Okay. Alright, maybe there is more to see in these spaces. Where were the other ones? There's one... Is there one down here? Yes, right? There's one in the thing. Here. Is there a reason why... I mean, this kind of looks like a turtle. Look, it got the head and the shell. I don't know if that's enough. But that's not the sound it made. Right? Didn't it make more of like a whale sound? Am I wrong on that? Yeah. I'm just going to call this the duckbill creatures. Okay. And then where else was there one? We couldn't find one at the jungle entrance. That's the one we're missing, right? But we know that there's one at the beginning. Here. Right. So if there's some sort of physical representation, it's not going to be this far out. I don't see anything on like the walls or anything. Oh my god, what? Is that... That's been there the whole time. What is that? I mean, you're probably screaming at me about that one. Whoa, dude. And it's its eye. That's even crazier. Wait, are all of them the eyes? Hold on. Is the dot always the eye of the creature? Okay, well, first of all, we're going to write this down. So the frog is in fact a frog. I was right about that. Frog at the entrance. Okay. So if that is always representing the eye, what happens when I go back? Oh, for fuck's sake. What a silly thing to need to repeat. I guess it's important to know that those creatures exist, so if you miss it or you don't remember, there's a reason to do that. Yeah, look, if that's the eye, this shape is like a... I think it is the wark, right? It's the shark thing. Ooh, okay, interesting. So... Okay, where is that last one, though? That's... Oh, it's in the forest, which means that what? Well, first of all, if there's one here... I feel like I'm just not seeing something here. All of the places have been exactly the same. With a couple of just switches, right? Where exactly it is has been... It's not been perfect, but it's been close. I'm not seeing anything of significance here. Let's go to the one underneath. And I knew it definitely had to be a perspective puzzle because... Okay, hold on. So this doesn't look... How do I make this work? What is this? Right, that's the one that we said was the goat. I'm just going to call this like the mushroom path. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Oh, maybe if I go up? Can I go up there? Oh, wait, but I can't go up there right now. I don't know if I know what to do with this one yet. And then this takes me down. Yeah, we know based on the remake, which I guess could be different, that we have to open this up from the other side. Actually, hold on. Does that line up? I can't look up to see whether it might, but I don't know that for sure. Okay, so those are the ones we have. I feel good about that. When it comes down to needing that, I feel like we have that in the bag. And it's not here? No. Because we had to be kind of like here to see it. No. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it there on that one. So we have not hit Survey Island at all. Yeah, it's funny. The puzzle is completely different, but the actual act of it is pretty similar. And what that's making me think is that there's gotta be a way to do something on Boiler to get me further. The actual structure of the game isn't gonna change. The puzzles are gonna be refined because they think that certain things are too hard or whatever, but the game itself, why would they need to change that? What a cool animation. Again, still looks great. All right. Yeah, there is still a tram there on the left side out of the laboratory, so that makes me think something. Oh, and then there's the still constructed bridge to the major golden dome. Which we turned some stuff on. Maybe I could do something with that? Right, this is a whole different little entrance area here. We get dropped, right? Yeah. Nice. Okay, great. So... hold on, really quick. Was that a lever? Can I press this lever? No. Oh, I could press it from here because that'll be... yeah. Yeah, I don't think I want to stand on that and press that lever. Thank you, game, for not allowing me to do that. Alright, cool. Saw that. Let's go down. Now, we've done all this. What do I have active here? Maybe we want to pull this over. So we've solved the boiler room puzzle here, right? Specifically. That pipe... hold on. That pipe is going up. Right, because there was this whole lever business, right? With this guy. We close this. That leads down to the Starry Expanse thing on the left, and then to the right, there's this lever, which turns things on or off. I forget what the default state was. So that's not entering in. We're not allowed to do that. Okay. And no change here. Yeah, this didn't go down. Oh, wait. There's a lever here. Oh, man, that blended in again. Okay, but that's down now, so I have to assume that... oh, if I feed the power now, that might go down? Oh, dude, that would be a crazy different path. That's making me want to go all the way back now. Alright, well, that doesn't do that. So that's on. Does this do anything over here? Yeah, like, why are we able to look up at the fan? That makes me think that... Oh, hold on. Oh, what am I looking at there? Oh, that's just the sides. Okay. So, I could see this wire. That wire is the lever that is over there. So let's go and... Oh, too much. No, man. Damn it. Okay. All right, we can keep these closed. So, if I go to the right and turn this off, and I kill that fan. Aha! Okay. So was that just on by default? I don't actually know. Uh-oh. Wait. Okay, there we go. Did we make it? Yeah, we made it. Okay, cool. That was, yeah, so it was just it's just about keeping a lever on. So wow, this is interesting. So there's no underground. That underground is where we just came from. So there's a book to read. We saw that. That unlocks the door to outside. Very nice. I don't need to necessarily go out there, so that's fine. What the hell is that? Oh, is that going to be the tram to the... Yeah, that's going to be the tram out here. Aha, look, there's our train. Cool. Okay, so we do have access to survey now. I mean, I guess we always did. But now we especially do. I was getting afraid for a second it was going to lock me out. Okay, great. So that's that. So yeah, they've condensed this room just slightly. Okay. What do we got here? We got eggs. And some rocks. Some sort of heating lamp bulb type situation. Oh, it's adding water. Oh, this is how the submarine works. Huh. The surrealist science is kind of cool. Nothing to do with the handle. Just a bunch of potions. Frogs. It doesn't look like a lot interactable there. I could come back to that. We'll stand by on that. Okay. Oh! Is that our one? Right, there was one in here. I forgot about that. So, right, there was one in here. I just don't know what the sound is. Oh, there's our Starry Expanse navigator. Oh, wow. Okay. Different, that's for sure. Oh, I understand. So I have the one, right? But I don't have the sound or the creature, but I can find out what the creature is because I could go to wherever the spot this came from and figure out what the animal is. Last week, when monitoring the situation of the villagers from the scope in my survey room, I observed one of the natives swim out to a small object that appeared to be floating but anchored near the entrance to the bay. I ordered the object removed from the water for inspection. Several days later, however, I was surprised to see another floating there. The missing object has apparently and quite mysteriously been replaced with a new one overnight. I've long been aware of the existence of similar artifacts on the villagers' island, but have paid them little notice until now. Tomorrow I shall send surveyors to catalog the others. Okay, so at the entrance to the bay, anchored. That's where I gotta look. So writing that one down. Entrance to the bay. Very nice. Okay, so in that case, now let's go with book, shall we? The latest ink formulation has proven a failure. Even when writing in my most promising books, I obtain only the barest glimmer of a connection. It is frustrating to expend so much effort to creating a blank book, only to end up destroying it when it doesn't work. There are days when the lab is uncomfortably warm from the flames of these failed attempts. The further I refine each element, the formulations of the inks and papers, the physical dimensions of the books, the more I realize that the list of potential combinations is nearly infinite. It is during moments like these that I despair. Without access to Denis, my long-term goals may never be accomplished. Nevertheless, there are avenues of research which remain to be explored. I am discontinuing regular observations of the stars beneath the fissure. Although I've been able to track the dark cloud-like formations that migrate through the star field and have proven that their paths are cyclical, without proper instrumentation it is pointless to continue. My general theory concerning the nature of the fissure has remained unaltered since it first appeared. It seems that the fabric of this age has been breached in a way that permits matter to be hospitably exchanged between the two discrete but overlapping spaces, much like a link. But the apparent physical contradictions surrounding the juncture define logical reason. The great column of wind that was formed when the fissure first appeared suggests a vacuum as one might expect in space. Yet my early experimentations revealed the presence of a breathable atmosphere. That Atrus and Catherine threw themselves into the void is further evidence that it might be safe to travel. But without knowing its true nature, I cannot take the risk myself. It is also difficult to say what would happen if I were to reopen it after so long, but it is likely that the results would be catastrophic, given the changes that have occurred in this age since that time. Maintenance on the steam vent caps completed 83-210. Oh yeah, and the dates aren't coded. I'm extremely pleased with the continued success of this system. I believe the construction to have been true to the Denis designs of my memory, another example of the superiority of the Denis technology. It's ironic that Atrus and Catherine unwittingly provided me with such a convenient source of power. So it's saying push the levers down. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's for the bridge, right? As with many of my views over the years, my thoughts regarding the origin of the fissure have changed. I have recently begun to wonder whether it was actually unexpected byproduct of the changes Catherine and Atrus wrote into this age during their escape. Certainly by casting their linking book into the void, they trapped me here quite effectively, but I do not believe that Atrus intended the book to be lost in this manner. Much better to destroy it than to risk the possibility of its falling into unknown hands. Also, they had foreseen the creation of the fissure. They would surely have thought that the vacuum it created would eventually consume the atmosphere of this planet, a fate which Catherine undoubtedly would have deemed unacceptable for her home world. If I had not been there to supervise the construction of the seal, this is most certainly what would have happened, for the villagers were far too frightened to even approach the vortex without my urging. I hold on to the belief that it was an unintended consequence of their writing for another reason as well. I prefer to think that my son had meant for this age to merely be a prison for me rather than a death sentence. This construction of the imagers has proceeded without fault. It's interesting to see how easily I've been able to adapt the Denis technology to mimic that of the Ahmed, maybe. In some ways, the similarities between the two cultures were striking. I wonder if perhaps there had been communication or commerce between the two cultures in earlier times. Maybe Keita's people were even descendants of the Denis. It pleases me to think so. There's our imager. Note, it's possible that if I were somehow to be able to supply the books with a power source of sufficient magnitude, I could suppress the variance enough to facilitate a solid link. It is doubtful that the geothermal cap generators could provide such an enormous surge, perhaps I could adapt the fire marbles. I have been cataloging the natural elements of this age for nearly 30 years now, yet I still continue to find evidence of the Denis preoccupation with 5. As a boy, it was very clear to me that the number 5 had a special significance to the Denis society, from the ancient heraldic emblems of the ruling elite to the humble homes of the commoners. It was ubiquitous. Its presence here is obviously a direct reflection of the minds that designed the texts that I used to compose this age. Further proof that through their art, the Denis masters were indeed creating the marvelous worlds they wrote, and not, as many have mistakenly thought, merely building links to pre-existing worlds. While most of my constructions have been based on Denis designs, I see now that the ones I have imbued with the power of 5 are clearly the most beautiful, the most perfect, and, I believe, the most structurally sound. Aha. I'm still attempting to determine how the Denis color symbology reflects this superior design principle. Although superficially it is based on a 6-color system, I'm convinced that there has to be a deeper connection to fire. I will continue to investigate. All right, I should probably write that down. Okay. I recognize most of these. I think these are the 6. Yeah. But I'm going to write them down in this order just in case it matters. So, based on my previous knowledge, I think it's in order: Jungle, Boiler, Prison, Temple, Survey. Wait. Oh wait, yeah. There was a weird thing in the remake that there were 6 islands, right? And there was like a 6th symbol that was never used. Huh. Okay. I finally made a breakthrough. I have succeeded in modifying the fire marbles to generate enough power to hold a descriptive linking book in a stable matrix. I've linked to a new world. It is a harsh and desolate age, but it is nonetheless well suited for my purposes, and so I have designated it my numbered. By studying it closely, I believe I will eventually be able to create a more appropriate... Okay, so it's 2 boxes. So, based on what we know, that's 9 and 8. So 98erd. Where are we at? According to my exact specifications... Oh, sorry. The Survey Guild has finally completed the set location for each island. The site location for each island. According to my exact specifications, and installation of the domes is underway at last. Work on the central power source got off to a bit of a bad start, I'm afraid, but the pace has picked up considerably since then, and I anticipate no further delays. I'm looking forward to finally having a civilized mode of transportation. Aha, okay, so we have these shapes again. Due to the rebels' continued disturbances, I've decided to install a coded access system into all the domes. Aha, okay, so that's our code. So that'll get us into every single one of the domes, huh? Okay, double... What is that one? Oh, I see. It's just the way it's drawn. That third one is a little wacky. Actually, all of them are a little wacky. Did we ever figure out what the V one was? There are a lot more complicated numbers here. Okay. I caught one of my assistants looking over this journal today. I'm glad I've chosen to write it in a language they cannot decipher. Note, discuss security with each guild master. No problems expected from the maintainers, educators, and surveyors. Question the bookmakers, and builders more closely. Today I heard several more reports of spirit sightings by some of the villagers. It seems that under Catherine's leadership, the rebels on the Black Moiety, as the villagers obstinately insist on referring to them, have attained a new level of sophistication in their terror tactics, and have renewed their campaign to intimidate the villagers into joining them. playing upon their shared superstitions. The villagers are certainly susceptible to this form of coercion, especially given of late the rebels' increasing acts of vandalism and theft. Still going. Is that why tram traps have been steadily fruitful this year? Apparently, the breakup of the islands has not adversely affected the subterranean ecosystems. How, unfortunately, I imagine the rebels are experiencing a similarly generous harvest. No shortage of poison for their darts this season. Oh. Is it like the frogs? Such morbid issues aside, the sudden availability has allowed me to refine a particularly pleasant extract for my pipe, one that is smoother than any of the others from recent years. Chemical analysis of one of the rebel knives has yielded curious results. Its composition contains elements that are unlike anything I've encountered on the islands. It appears they have access to a resource of which I am unaware, perhaps a mine or an uncharted island. Note, most of the knives here have been found on the south side of the village. This is the same area in which these have been reports of people mysteriously disappearing. I think a closer inspection of the area is warranted. The fact that they leave these distinctive knives as a sign of their presence concerns me. They're growing more bold, and seem to no longer fear discovery of their hideout. The latest measurements indicate that the recent trend has continued. The movement of the islands has slowed tremendously. My previous estimates predicted a total collapse in approximately 3 months, but with the new figures I'm uncertain. I've merely finished writing the blank age, so it's the 99th age. And I have every faith that it will indeed be a safe place for us to relocate to. Yet it would be helpful to know what has caused the halt in this age's breakup. Is it possible that it's stable after all? If so, I must discover how this age differs from my less successful attempts. My examinations of the 98th age have thus far proven inconclusive. Or perhaps someone is repairing the damage to the 5th age. If so, it would almost certainly be Atrus' doing. I have reluctantly decided to abandon my experiments into the behavior of the water of this age, as there are more pressing matters in which I must now concentrate, leaving me little time for such speculative research. For future reference, however, my investigations up to this point have revealed the following. I believe the remarkable properties of the water to be caused by a life form that resides in it, specifically a type of bacteria. I'm imagining a motile unicellular organism, but one with structures capable of holding bits of water, whose combined effect, via surface tension, a stronger force, causes the composite body of water to move in response to heat. Prolonged exposure to extreme heat, for example, a period of extended boiling, seems to kill the bacteria, which would explain its dramatic aversion to heat sources. Unfortunately, these theories are still not fully tested, and I remain ignorant of both its deeper nature and its possible uses. Wow. These books just never stop going. An exciting development. Last night, a squad of maintainers, that's the word. A squad of maintainers stumbled upon a lone rebel scout and obtained him from a most incredible device. It is a crystal that somehow powers these flawed linking books, much as my own system does, but with an obvious advantage. It is small and weighs only a few pounds, making it completely portable. Catherine must have fabricated the device before I captured her. Obviously, with explicit Denis schematic, she must have brought with her to this age. If only I'd had access to such a document all these years. Regardless, I can now concentrate solely on the weighting of ages, and need no longer worry about building elaborate power supplies for each new book I write. This is a sobering reminder, however, that I must continue to seek an avenue to Denis. Regaining access to the resources there may be crucial to the completion of my mission. Okay. Done. So we have a pen. Oh. Don't want to count anything out. They just seem all like little pieces. This is interesting. I don't know what I'm looking at here, really. And then we're back around. What is this? Oh. We got a fried book. So this is just a furnace now. It's not the fire marble tester machine thing. Really interesting. Okay. Good stuff. So we have a couple things now, right? We have... Oh, we didn't check this out. Hold on. Still don't... I think there's just a paper cutter. This must be to assemble the books, right? That must be what this is for. Yeah, these are all like bookmaking materials. Okay, so yeah, we have the access code to the domes. We have access to Survey Island. And maybe we now put down the bridge lever. So a couple things that we can attempt, but we're going to hold off for the next episode for that one. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you're liking me stumble through the second playthrough of a game. It's the first time I've ever played a game twice where I've had more trouble with the second playthrough than even maybe the first. But yeah, I hope you guys are still enjoying it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.